Okay, so video for the Subtonic STORM. This is a $5,200 set of earphones. Don't jump out. Comment, like, and subscribe below this video. I do crazy stuff. The Elysian Acoustic X was given away, and also money was donated to animal charity. If the moment comes where I decide to let go of this set, because it's just audio gear, as amazing as it is, this would be the video that I would go back to, because the people that said, he'll never do it, you'd be surprised. Like, you got to be a subscriber, and you got to comment, because that's how I'd pull you. If I do end up giving this away, I just buy another one. This would be the section to do that. And then also the Meteor will be given away today. And this is from the video where I told people to comment before, and that money was going to be given to an animal charity in Singapore. That has already been done. The money was transferred about an hour ago, thanks to Shua T, who lives a lot in Giz Audio's Discord. He helped me go from PayPal to Pay Now, which is what it is in Singapore, Malaysia. So an animal charity got their money, and somebody's going to get the Meteor today, and someday somebody might get the Storm right there. That one that's sitting right there would be yours, because of a comment that you made below this video. And you got to be a subscriber, and I got to be able to see that. So, and a like would be awesome. Let me talk about this set. I waited a long time for it. Let me give you something to look at. You see the top left, it's featuring Slam, which is, you see the exploded view. It's like a balanced armature regular. They usually dualies where there's two that are sharing a single nozzle. What they've done with this is greatly modified. Really, it's a new type of driver, in my opinion. They've separated the two, and they've crossed over each one independently. This set has a Slam subwoofer. A Slam woofer is what they're calling that. Regular BA mid-woofer, two BAs in the mid-range, a BA mid-tweeter, and a BA tweeter, and then two ESTs. So it's a 2 plus 5 plus 2 is basically the configuration. It features other technologies like FLAT or flat, EEE, CTRL, which is the crossover network. I believe there's 7 crossover points on this set, 9 drivers, 7 crossover points. It's absolutely brilliant. I might be showing some videos on the top, including Charles Bradley. The vocals from that track, which is a cover of Black Sabbath's Changes, it's absolutely amazing. Chris Cornell, Nothing Compares to You, which was written by Prince and made famous by Sinead O'Connor. It sounds amazing. Jimi Hendrix's music is really hard to replay. This, because there's so much distortion pedals, mastering and production quality is not really good on a lot of them, particularly all along the Watchtower, where you've got 3 different, seemingly, recording sessions that are very much put together. You can't quite pick it up, but the production mastering is really low quality at the beginning, and it's really excellent at the end. And then the middle is kind of bridging the two. It's pretty much average. It's a really fascinating example of people doing work in the studio and you being able to pick it up with your ear with good gear. I've mentioned it before with other gear that I like, and this picks it up better than really anything. Bass is an 8 out of 10, mids and treble. The bass is higher than other BAs that I've rated, because this doesn't sound like BAs in the bass. It's not that, oh, this is great BAs. This is actually different tech. So instead of a 6 being the max, this is getting an 8. The library mentioned below, everything in my library that you can see. I tried to think of something that I thought this doesn't do well, but it does everything. It's got female vocals, it does male vocals, it can do hip-hop well, which is a stunner for me. It can do Big Boy Kill Jill with the triple drop, with the lowest around 38 hertz. It does that like a champ, which blows me away, which convinces me that what they did with those drivers and the modifications they did is not just company speak hype, it's actually audibly present. I can pick up what they're doing. Now I'm going to glide to my left for a second and take a look at a frequency graph. This is what it looks like. When the graph first came out, some people, I don't know what they were expecting, but some people were like, oh, that looks like a hacksaw on the treble. Crin just did a video where he was talking about moving to the 5128 or 38. I'm not sure what that is. It's expensive, whatever it is, and I'm not getting it. But he was talking about how one of the biggest mistakes that people have made over the past few years is taking the Harman target or targets like that and trying to adhere to them, because that's not the goal and why those targets were created. In fact, the targets were really, according to Harman and others, created for the benefit of companies to not fail and to lose money because they don't know what they're doing. And based on people's feedback, this was basically safe. There's a big difference between that and ideal or your favorite. Reviewers' targets are kind of like that. That's generally safe, kind of what they prefer. Unfortunately, we, myself included, and in a video I did recently, adhere to it a little too close. That's why you've got to talk about music when you do videos, because it leaves people behind. They don't know what you're talking about if you simply lean on a graph and don't talk about music. So let me talk about some music. That Chris Cornell track that I might play right now as I'm speaking, it sounds amazing. The cello, the 4-string sit-down bass, basically, is what that is. Sounds amazing. The overtones sound fantastic. The acoustic guitar, the back rhythm guitar, also acoustic, sounds amazing. Chris Cornell's vocals sound excellent. There's another one by a person, rest in peace, both of them actually, called Charles Bradley. He's doing a cover of Black Sabbath's Changes, which sounds crazy. I'm going to give a pause here for a second.
Am I right? The last tune you're going to do for us is Changes, which is a tune by Black Sabbath. You don't strike me as the average Black Sabbath fan. How did this tune cross your path?
Mr. Tommy Burnett asked me to do this song. Never heard of the guy, but the
okay, I'm going to cut into
this
now. That's him explaining how him, really a soul singer, got connected with Changes. It was something that reminded him of his mother and when she passed, and there was a verse in there. And I might play that right about now.
Somebody gotta help me. And this is the part that hurts me the deepest. It took so long to realize, Mama, I can still hear her last goodbye.
The glockenspiel on Born to Run by Bruce Springsteen. The panning left and right on the back of On the Run on Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon, where it sounds like there's basically kind of rocket ships. People talk about airplane. That's at the end of the track. The beginning of the track, it sounds like there's spaceships or some kind of vehicles coming from your left and then disappearing out of the right, and then vice versa. It happens a couple times. That gives you stuff that's got lack of space or very much in your head. You don't really catch that very much. This is about as good as I've ever heard it. It's very clear. The gate announcement at the beginning. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you haven't heard me talk about the Pink Floyd track in a long time. It doesn't pop out as much as I would like it to. Let me get to the album. The regular version of Dark Side of the Moon is fine. This is the DSD. It's a track called On the Run. There's a gate announcement at the beginning where she's talking about get your passports ready for Rome. How long you can pick that up before it blends into the track itself is really directly related to transducer quality, because some of it it can't really catch it. I'm talking a 1 or 2 second, very much OCD stuff, but when you have it, you have it. And this is just nailing it. I almost didn't do a video for this set because it's so expensive. The views will be minimal. The amount of people that can purchase it will also be minimal. However, it's really, really close to being my favorite set, and it's battling with the Grand Maestro, and it's kind of a struggle. If the Grand Maestro didn't have multiple tuning profiles, it would be the Storm. That's the only thing that's keeping it in its spot. As amazing as it is, the Storm is twice as much price-wise, or more than that. So, but, I'm not sure. The Led Zeppelin 4th album, I might throw up something for you to look at right now. The kick drum intro is a classic. It's the intro to the song. The reviews by the peers in the magazines like Parade Magazine, Rolling Stone noted that it was a authoritative, forceful intro by John Bonham into the track. It's not just a kick drum, it's a very produced kick drum with echoes and effects, and you can pick it up. It's got a swirling effect according to Jimmy Page, and it was done in a castle. I think it was a castle. It was in a stairway, and they hung a microphone down from the second floor, one above, right above the kit, and then they had another microphone placed. So they did a lot of stuff to try to get that kick drum to sound right. It's supposed to sound authoritative. When you listen to stuff like the variations of the Monarch, both versions, it sounds like a kick drum, but it doesn't sound like this powerful, potent thing that's coming right at your face. With the Storm, it does. And also Big Boy Killjill, the triple drop with the lowest being at 38 hertz. Yeah, that slams too. This doesn't lack in any genres. It does Vivaldi like a boss as well. This is the track right here that many of you might be familiar with. A lot of times BAs do it clean. They don't crap on the mids like a dynamic driver of medium to lower quality might do. This does this as good as most any DD that I've heard. DD. Sometimes there's too much mid bass and it can get in the way, but dynamic drivers do this really good. The Maestro does this great. The fat frequency sets typically do this good because they've got a lot of sub bass, but they've got a cut, I think around 300 hertz or just prior to that, which is perfect for a track like this. The Storm does this excellent. So this does my library great. I'm going to throw up a spider graph real quick. Put that up. I think the mids, comparing this with the Subtonic Storm with the Grand Maestro and the Elysian Annihilator, I can say right now that the Annihilator doesn't hold up. I don't put the X, which was my preferred set. I sold the Annihilator after 2 weeks because it was definitely not my thing. People said it was better for EDM than the Annihilator. Or the X. The X was better for EDM, but the Annihilator has more mid-bass, so I never got it. When I bought it and I listened to it, I realized it had more than what I wanted compared to the X, so I sold it quickly. So I'm going to put the Annihilator in here with the disclosure. I wasn't a fan of it, really. Not as much as the X, anyway. Starting with the bass, I think the Grand Maestro, because of its switch and its potential in 2 settings of the 4, it's got stronger, more potent bass than the Storm. I think the mids on the Grand Maestro, in a couple, it's really the same. These are the same score. The treble, I think, on the Grand Maestro is excellent as well, and it's got 2 to 3 multiple, very, very high quality treble representations. I think as we get to resolution, stage, and tonality, it's where the Storm kind of takes over clearly, very much. Some people that had this set before me mentioned that they thought the stage was not what they expected because this was promoted as being speaker-like. I've got to mention that out loud because I very much disagree with them. I've listened to this off a ADI 2DAC and off a luxury LP6, the gold version, particularly off the ADI. I think this sounds very spacious. Lynyrd Skynyrd, One More from the Road, Freebird, where Ronnie Van Zant is behind the mic and there's people cheering and clapping on the left and on the right at different moments as he's asking you what songs that you want to hear. And they start the piano intro to Freebird. Those are positional cues that give you a kind of a sense of space. It sounds huge to me. On the stuff, U2, still haven't found what I'm looking for. I think that's Rattle and Hum. It sounds huge. So when it's supposed to sound like a spacious replay because of microphone positioning, it sounds like it. As much or more than any set I've heard. So I disagree with the people who also paid full price and who think the way that they do. But the opinion of this having not the best stage, absolutely disagree. It's certainly got a better stage than the Annihilator and also the Grand Maestro in all of its configurations. It's a fantastic set. I think I'll go ahead and leave it at that. I might put the Charles Bradley at the end of this after the rollout. You can go ahead and just skip and leave that. You might want to watch it. It's just a brilliant vocal male presentation that if something has too much mid bass, he's gonna sound bad. Listen to that track with a set like Variations, listen to a set with something that's got a little more mid bass, then listen with a set that's got a lot of mid bass, and listen to what happens to his vocals. It's a learning moment. It's a very much male, throaty, lot of energy in the low end vocals, and it will show you what mid bass will do, because the quality of his replay, which I'll put at the end of this, and I shouldn't get dinged from YouTube, I don't think anyway. Like the bass guitar on Sultans of Swing, which sounds excellent on the Storm, that's a track that will also definitely show you the mid bass is being tucked or it's too much. This Charles Bradley track, it's epic. I'm going to leave it at that. I think I just said that. Oh, I got to spin. That was close. I almost just did that. And this is for the Meteor. The money has been sent to the Animal Rescue. Shout out to Shua T and Subtonic for letting me do this. Eric likes eating. The Eric likes, holy crap. I don't the Eric likes it. I don't think I've seen your comments recently, but you apparently commented in the Meteor video, and you just won the Meteor. Congrats to you. I need info sent to the email in my contact section. And again, as hard to believe as it might be to you, that Storm is someday going to skip off my desk. It could be sooner than later. I doubt it, kind of, but you never know. And this comment section will be used to give that set away. So, I mean, who thought they were going to get the Meteor? And someone just did. Eric likes eating. Congrats to you, bro. And we are out. Do I wreck the Storm? Is it worth the money? Diminishing returns is not only real, it's understated. There's a lot of sets that cost $1,500 that don't sound as good as $350 sets, in my opinion. So that's not enough of a statement. However, if you got a lot of money and you want to hear something different than what you heard before, you would get something like the Gold Planar and hear what air motion transfer and small size sounds like, or you would get a set like this that has BAs in the bass, but they're modified and they're very much upgraded and improved and essentially almost a new kind of tech taking care of the rhythm section, which is the critical backbone to my library. I cannot overstate how important it is for the low end and the bassist and the drummer and portions of male vocals to be handled in a way that is ideal to me and does not get in the way of the fundamentals, which almost all exist just after a portion of the mid bass. Done well, the bass makes everything else sound better or at its best. And the mid BAs and the ESTs are doing excellent with the set. They're propped up and set out on an excellent journey, an audible, sonic, excellent journey by those slam drivers. Get your ears on it and listen to something in your library that's got a low end, a complicated low end, with like a oboe or a bass or two bass guitars or a lot of stuff in the rhythm section with vocals, and then hear what this set does. It's very impressive. I like it a lot. Shout out to Subtonic. What is going on with Malaysia and Singapore? Everybody talks about Chi-Fi all the time. You've got Elysian, you've got Subtonic, and you've got Subtonic, Elysian, and one more, Fat Frequency. 3 companies that are basically dominating the hobby in 2023, in my opinion, if you've got the money. And we're all talking about Chi-Fi. I guess that's because of the hobby, but I'm going to do a video about all 3 companies at one because they're really taking over and changing the game. And now, I'm out.